Hi everyone, welcome back to my Ohio Zone 6B garden. My name's Nicholas, if you forgot. I'm sure you didn't because it's in the title. But I just wanted to tell you what we're getting into today. I have a flower bed up by my house where there used to be a really big tree and it was taken down last year. So a lot of the plantings underneath are shade plants and they do fine, and I'm not really trying to move those. But there's a ton of hostas over there and I kind of want to split them because I have an area behind my greenhouse that I've been trying to make into something this year. I created a potting area and there's a picnic bench, and I kind of want to put like a shade garden back there. And so instead of just going and buying a bunch of stuff, I just decided I can just split a lot of the stuff that I have because my hostas are quite large, which is a great thing. So let me just take you back there real quick and show you what I'm talking about. So here's the area that I was talking about. This side gets a lot of afternoon sun, so I've put a lot of annuals and then a lot of divisions. Like I did it in a video in the past. It was some Shasta daisies and Leotris, and then there's some lilies back here, Rudbeckia. There's a Nyphophia over here that it was actually a transplant from my mom. And then I have some hollyhocks, a bunch of stuff, penstemon. So it'll look good next year. Everything's a little new this year. But what I want to do today is kind of clean this area up behind the picnic bench, maybe on like this side right here, and then on the other side over there. And I would like to make like a nice shade garden. So let's go see what all hostas can be divided and get it going. I will have to rake and clean this area because it's it's looking rough right now. It is also where I kind of dump my sod, like if I'm edging a flower bed or if I'm removing grass, I'll like pile it, and I'm really not going to move those just because it can stay mounded, and maybe over time I can plant on that stuff and it'll be like a little berm. But let's go get this going. This is the bed that has been affected, I think, by the removal of the tree. Not that the hostas look bad or anything, it's just I want to try to put some more sun-loving stuff in here now that the tree is gone. So I don't think I'm going to remove full plants. I'm just going to divide them up. I do have a hellebore right here that does need to be moved though, because it's getting bleached out from the sun. So now's as good a time as any to start, I suppose. I'm gonna grab the hose so that as soon as I take them out of the ground, I can keep them really saturated for the move. And I would strongly recommend anyone to get a hose link because they are very convenient. And then I have this thing that I put in the ground right here so that when you round a corner, you can keep pulling instead of going over top of your plants. Whew. Gardening is dangerous. I'll start with this hellebore just because I know for sure it has to come out. I do have some drip irrigation in here somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. Oh, it's farther over. I guess next I'll go into the danger zone with all these spiders. But let me get this fern first. This fern actually has a dear place in my heart. I remember when I was a child going to my grandma and grandpa's house in Kentucky, and they have mountains that completely surround their house on all sides. And on those mountains, they had just ferns galore growing on them. And I got this from them, from my grandma and grandpa's house. And then I also, my mom and I both got this tattoo right here. It's supposed to be like a crude drawing of like a fern edge, in honor of that. So my grandpa's not with us any longer, but my grandma is, and she still lives there. She lives there by herself because she's a very strong woman. All right, I'm gonna wet these down a little bit. I always wait until the water runs cold, especially in the middle of the day, because who wants to have hot water? Well, a human would, but hot water in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the sun, no thank you. That's not cooling or refreshing. I'm thinking I'm just gonna do this one straight down the middle. And you will have some leaf loss, unless you're going down there with a surgical knife and dividing perfectly, but plants don't need that. Tough love is good for them. How easy was that? And then I'll bring some soil back to fill in the holes that I've created. This hosta was from a neighbor. They just they had in front of their house like a full bed of hostas, and they just took them all out and had these on the curb for trash day. And I'm obviously not going to let that go to waste. Well, it does look a little lopsided. Here's a better image that you can see how they separate. So this would be one, here's another, there's another. So you could divide this as much as you want, really. I guess, I mean, I don't have enough plants to do the end goal today, but I would really like to, like, kind of like along this natural line right here of the trees, make like a bed of hostas, and then maybe stuff over top of these hills. I am gonna grab my these DeWalt trimmer clipper things. They're like battery operated, and I'm gonna clean up all these stems you see right here. So maybe I should actually do that first, since that's gonna create a mess on the floor as well. Let me go grab that. I would not want to catch my finger in this, because once it goes, it goes. But it does have a little like safety trigger that you have to push down in order to pull the actual trigger. So it'd be like this. If you don't have that pushed, you can't chop a finger off. Use with caution. I think I'm gonna grab the chainsaw next. Just kidding. That looks better. It might look weird just because like a lot of them are shaved off on this side, and then there's still stuff over there, but I'm not in all that stuff was dead anyway, and then there's still stuff living facing the back side, so facing my neighbor in the back's property, and I don't really want to see straight through to their yard. Not that I have a problem or anything but with them, but I just would still like to have that natural block. And then we're doing a shade bed, so if I cut too much out, then it'll be probably still a shade bed, but still. Let me clean up my mess and rake everything up. My mom is here helping me film today, and she's going to be a kind-hearted soul and help me move some of the sticks. So we're going to load up the sticks and throw them on the burn pile. And then we're going to rake everything, and we're going to save the pine cones because we like to use them for different things. I have a collection growing already right here. So we're going to save all the ones that are nice and use them for different things. I'm sure you'll see in the future what some of those creations are. I mean, you can break apart the pine cone and use each little section of it like to cover things. Like you could do like a cone tree with it for Christmas. You could do one time we made like a fairy house, like a woodland kind of mushroom thing, and then we used like those pieces of pine cones and clad the roof so they look like shingles. You can use just the whole pine cone for decoration, which is what I do in the greenhouse. Any jar or container that I have, instead of it being empty, I'd like to fill it with stuff just because it adds something rather than nothing. So a lot of the times, especially if I'm using them out, have empty containers outside, I'll use pine cones to fill them with. And then I also have a tree in the front. I'm gonna mess this up, but is it like a sweet gum tree maybe? But it has these like spiky balls. That sounds bad. Balls that have like little spikes on them. And I'll use those to fill up containers too. So more creative, crafty things coming forward, because that is a part of my life and I do want to have that on the channel as well. But for now, we're going to get back to sweating and cleaning up. It is nice outside, don't get me wrong, but when you're moving, it's still quite hot. Here's a cone that was eaten by a squirrel. So they eat, let me show you. So once all these little pieces come off, this is what's left. So that's what I was saying, is you can use these come off and you can use them for things. Now obviously it's easier when they're bigger, like if you have a bigger cone, but you can still. I'm going to give it to you straight. This is a bigger job than we thought. Not that it's probably going to even look like that when I show it to you, but it's just been a lot of raking and cutting and carrying. It looks really good. And then, so we are going to plant, I'm going to show you, and then we'll plant the stuff that we dug up already and divided. And then we'll have to assess after that whether this is going to be carried on to another video, which it might be. So it's looking very clear and nice. It seems bigger. Like there's a lot of walking area now, which is really good. Before you were crunching and falling over sticks and twigs and stuff. And then just to show you where we are, this is directly behind the greenhouse. So hopefully in time, a lot of this is going to be like a shady woodland area. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a fern, how it comes out of the ground, but let me find one for you. Okay, here we go. It like comes out and it's like a coil of hairiness. It kind of looks like a bug or something, but it's not. They just unfurl from the ground like that. I'm gonna let the water soak in because it's having a hard time just because it was so dry. So I'm probably gonna water it maybe 3 or 4 times over the next little while. I am going to finish cleaning up. I think that's gonna be it for today because I still have to water all my plants and clean a bunch of stuff up that I made a mess with. So this will be part 1 of probably many parts. So just stay tuned so that you can get a better feel of what I'm gonna do back here. I know we cleaned up this area and then I didn't plant in it, which is probably confusing, but I kind of wanted to, I think after thinking about it, wanted to start from the greenhouse, closest to the greenhouse, and work my way back. And I wanted to extend what bed is already right here and then move the fire pit. So I will see you guys next time and keep learning and keep growing.